from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios, this is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good morning, everybody. Thursday morning on 92.7 The Ticket, Old School. Jay Foreman, Rico, myself, all of you. Thanks for hanging out for the next 2 hours. And got a lot of stuff to talk about on a busy day that, well, for me, started last night. This was my first conversation with your coach.
The doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Osborne was on the station last night.
There it is.
Yeah. Having those discussions, pretty cool. Tell me something that people don't necessarily know about Tom Osborne.
Well, I mean, he's been around, so
he's been around forever.
So everybody knows.
But you and your story, like your engagement.
I'd probably say that he's a lot funnier than he probably comes off as. You know, I would say that he is. I guess it would. Maybe they call it dry humor.
Mm-hmm.
Very quick-witted. I'd probably say that just on the surface because people think like, you know, him being a head coach, he's not gonna, you know, it's kind of more like straightforward, but he's pretty quick-witted. So that's about it. I mean, everything else that I would say, people already know. You know, he's great man. I will say this, you know, he drove us a lot harder than it probably looked on the surface, which was great because he was hard on us, but fair. The expectations were high, but they weren't unfair or unrealistic. And he taught us as much about football taught us as much about football as he did about life. And it wasn't even about the one-on-one. It's just how he went about it and how he was able to use the the driving force of football to teach us about things that we would possibly be coming up on and later on in our life. So those are things that people that are well documented, but I'd say he's pretty funny. I always tell the stories about, you know, getting recruited by Nebraska by chance. So, you know, I have when people talking about in-state recruits, Chucky Hudbrun, those guys, I had the experience of it myself where, you know, the Minnesota football program at that time was not very well thought of, wasn't very good, but they weren't recruiting in-state recruits. So if you're not getting a Minnesota offer at that point in time, back when we only had like blue chips or whatever it was called, you know, you were not really thought of highly. But Monty Kiffin, who started the Black Shirts, was the Vikings defensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin, who's his son, who's the famous or infamous coach of Ole Miss right now. Me and him were ball boys, but he went to a rival high school, and they had a big old tight end named Dave Watson. Another Division I guy, his name was Lloyd Lee. So Nebraska and all those Michigan State and all those guys were looking at those three. So then, you know, I played them X, Y, and Z, and asked my coaches. You know, story goes on that where they recruit me, and I did well. And the next thing you know, Coach Osborne is. You know, there's back then it was always the rumors, right? So it must have came from, you know, the administration that, you know, said coach was coming. And then somebody in that administration must have told one of the gossip people out there in the student body. Then next thing you know, somebody's coming in whatever class. Oh, you know, Nebraska's here and Coach Osborne. Well, I didn't grow up a Nebraska fan. I grew up a Miami fan. That's where everybody in my family went. Nebraska wasn't recruiting me at that time, or if they were, it was kind of just very minimal, which they weren't at all. And one of my best friends, his name was Jason Spinharney. Now he's Father David out in New York. is from Lincoln. His whole family is from Nebraska. He looks like a Nebraskan. He's definitely a ginger to the utmost degree, but me and him were very, very close. And so we'd always have like a running bet after Nebraska would play Miami. And obviously Miami would always most likely come out on the top, and we'd play basketball together. But he was so excited for Coach Osborne to come, and you would thought that at that time, Bill Parcells was coming, and obviously there was people knew who Nebraska was and Coach Osborne. And I remember watching, at that time he could come and walk through school, but he couldn't have conversations with you. And so everybody's kind of gathered around my locker telling me he's coming, and you'd see him, and it was like parting of the Red Sea. And then the next, that night he came to my house, and, he had, talked to my dad. My dad felt very comfortable with him, which was obviously a big chore. Very honest with my dad, but wasn't anything uptight. And the rest is history. So Coach Osborne is one of those things that is what you see is what you get. Every time you see him, or I see him, he asks how I'm doing, asks how my family's doing, my dad, kids and all that stuff. And he genuinely, truly cares. And not one time I've ever like contacted him or reached out for something that he hasn't, answered or, gave you his attention. That's he's coached every one of his players the same. And a lot of those coaches have as well. I know that Coach McBride was on earlier in the week, and, like I always say, the head coach is going to set the foundation. The other coaches are going to kind of take it and put their stamp on it. Coach Samuel, who coached me my first 2 or 3 years here, he's retired, living in Vegas. If I'm down there seeing my mom, I always reach out to him and see him. I see Coach Darlington, I always catch up with him. Had a great relationship with Coach Tenniper before he passed away. Have a very strong relationship with Coach Solich, Coach Brown, all the other coaches that you can think of. Coach Steele, if I ever run into him, it's like, it's they're all kind of like, a spider web off of Coach Osborne. And so, every time you see him or talk to him, you feel, appreciative is, that he's around in good health, and, he has the drive to do, bigger and greater things. And I think it's a really good indicator of how he is, where you see guys trying to go out there and do, give acts of service, right? Whether it's the Foreman Foundation, whether it's the Warren Academy, where you got Aaron Davis that goes out and does a lot of speaking engagements, where you got Ricky Simmons. There's a great story, with Terrell Farley, Jason Peters. I don't know who else, if I'm missing anybody else. I know Eric Warfield, when he was here, he used to give back a lot. So, and there's plenty more that it's on a, yearly basis and pretty active in the community. And if there's, you can't say that Coach Osborne doesn't have an influence on it, because we've seen him do it when at the height of his career in Nebraska's football dominance, and continue to do it. So, he's had a big influence on all of us, and continues to do so, every day. So, that's why he's such a big figure. That's why Nebraska is such a big figure. That's why he's a big part of the reason why Nebraska is thought of at the height, or as the prestige that it is, even though the record isn't where we'd like it to be. He's a big part of it. And then obviously the players and the coaches and the staff that have kind of came through with him and after him have obviously benefited, but obviously try to uphold their end of the bargain set forth by Coach Osborne.
How much of the program success is based on those relationships rather than football IQ smarts, right?
It was highly, look, they set the tone. And Nebraska was kind of in the forefront of really with the weight program, and then they've taken it, then they took it to a whole nother level. But that's how we were able to get the maximum out of everybody, right? And then once you saw the fruits of your labor per se, then it just became a way of life, and it built you up not only physically but mentally, and allowed you to go out there and play well. And it was just, so it is the relationship. So when Coach Osborne comes to my house, and I ask him if I play an all-star game and I blow out my knee, because back then it was like, you always hear the stories of kids going off to play places and they blow out a knee and they get sent home. And he tells you, looks you in the eye and says, you know, you make a commitment to me, I'm committed to you for the next 4 or 5 years, however long it takes, you know, whether you redshirt or whether you don't. And and then he's, you know, say, I'm going to put you in the best position to get a great education, and we've got a great support staff. And then he does it. Then you see him, you know, the prop, when we, you know, prop 48, we were, you know, obviously had a lot of props where, you know, they got guys that were maybe from where they, you know, didn't have the support in high school, or fortunate I was to have the support, you know, able to get, you know, your grades to what you need to be eligible, get them here, get them the structure, get them eligible, continue along. And a lot of those guys graduate. So it's, I mean, it's the relationship. So when you got somebody that's, you know, it's built on something bigger than football, and then he asks you to go out there and do, you know, show up. You're going to more than show up, you know, and so that's what you want. And then when this is what he doesn't get, maybe, I don't know, I'm sure he does, but his ability to create a room in an environment of competitiveness, but then great peer pressure I don't think gets enough credit, because, you know, as much, and we could talk about, I know that there's an article about in-state recruits as far as basketball, in-state recruits as far as football. You know, all that stuff is great, because I think it's a cycle. You know, you're going to go through 3 or 4 years where you have great in-state recruits. Then it might be a lull, and that's just the way it is, right? Because we're not in Louisiana or Texas where you're just constantly going to be churning out Power 5 kids because of just the pure numbers, right?
Yeah.
But what he did a really good job of is looking at the personalities as well, how competitive you are, finding out about, are you coachable, or you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And then match you with people, I think, in that room that can either keep you in check or bring the best out of you, and then match you with a coach that could do something else, right? So it's like you're covering, if there's a square, right, of the 4 big things that you need to be successful, he's making sure he's doubling down on each 4 of those squares, and you're in the middle. So that means you're getting it from all 4 angles, and it's building you up to be the best player and the best, you know, student athlete that you could be. If it didn't work out that way, it was a personal choice. You get what I'm saying? There was always something. There were some other cases. I mean, it's not 100%, but at the end of the day, if you came in and you wanted to be good and get the best out of your college experience, you're going to be set up to do it. And that necessarily doesn't mean you go on and go to the next level. It's like, do you become are you go from like a Joel Makovicka? He had to go and see something in Joel, even though he had older brothers there, but he had to get in front of Mr. Makovicka and say, okay, I know your son's coming from a 8-man football. He comes here and works his tail off, not only as a walk-on, and if he gets to a certain part on the depth chart, he's going to be, on scholarship, but we ain't going to hold him back because somebody else is coming from Kansas as a fullback. If he's the best player, he's going to play. So when you do that over and over and over, if Rico's your son, DP, and you are a Missouri alum or a Missouri fan, or you know what I mean, say you're from Missouri, you know what I mean, then you're going to be like, okay, he's in good hands, because you got that sheet right there. You got sheets upon sheets, film upon film, as far as watching the games of guys that he's not made promises to, give them tangible options, and then held up his end of the bargain.
But so how much?
Now it's a little bit different now, where when you're winning, when you're winning,
there's fewer questions.
There's fewer questions, yeah. And you will actually be, if you decide to go. So here's a good analogy, right? Me leaving Minnesota, I didn't have to wear a scarlet letter because Minnesota didn't recruit me until the end, right? And plus Minnesota wasn't winning. So the light got shined on Minnesota as I became successful, and as Nebraska became.
How did this happen? How did you
right?
Guy, right?
Why would Jim Wacker, first offer you to walk on, and you're better than anybody out there, and you're the state player? That you get what I'm saying?
And repeat that again.
You know what I mean?
Repeat that. No. Repeat that again.
It was Kevin Sumlin. And it was Kevin. It was Kevin Sumlin. Here's the best story, and I'll have to have my dad tell you. Now you're gonna have to have the dump button ready. because they were actually like me and DP here. That's Kevin Sumlin. I'm my dad. They're both getting haircuts. I've been knowing Eddie. His name is Eddie. He's been cutting my hair ever since I got to Minnesota. And Daryl Thompson, whose son actually played for Indiana, who was a great Minnesota running back, was there watching it. So it was all three of them, and they'd always get cut on Fridays or whatever. And Kevin Sumlin, thought he was, King Dingling. They could think he came from TCU or whatever. So all they recruited as Texas kids. And my dad just stopped the haircut and just went off on him, left with his haircut not even done, drove back to where we lived, saw his haircut wasn't done, came back later because he thought he was going to fight him. So that's the funny story. I mean, obviously it gets into a little bit deeper, but ultimately when you're thinking about stuff like that, and when you're winning, back when we were coming up, it's more of a big deal than where you're not winning. But then also that's where you get guys that maybe come and take a chance and walk on, and kids when we grew up had a lot more patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And more realistic. I didn't show up on campus thinking that I needed to play as a freshman or I needed to dress as a freshman. I don't need to put on a jersey. I didn't like Halloween. I don't need Halloween Saturday 12 times a year just to kind of boost my own ego, knowing I'm not getting on the field. What inspired me more was sitting up in the stands in the student section, watching. And when I was there, yeah, of course I was cheering, but I was watching the game. I was trying to see what defenses they were run as a red shirt that I possibly learned just during a couple weeks during 2 days. And if they were executing it. Now, obviously we were executing it to the maximum, but I was getting film study, but I had patience because I had a realistic view of myself.
Mm-hmm. You had greatness in your space before you got here.
Right, but I also knew that I didn't come down from Minnesota thinking it was all about me. I didn't think that Coach Osborne said, look, if you're the best player, you're going to play. This is a great opportunity for you to come play at a major university. You're going to get great education and all that stuff. But by no means did he ever make promises that I was going to come in and start. I mean, heck, my roommate was Grant Wistrom. He was the #1 defensive player in the whole nation. I think the USA Today player of the year. It was only Blue Chips and USA Today. That was a big deal. Who are these guys?
There was no Under Armour.
There was no Under Armour. There was no All-American game.
No ESPN.
There was nothing, right? And there wasn't no hat reveals or anything like that. It was some curly, dorky-looking white kid from Webb City, Missouri. You know what I mean? Because I always mess with him. I was like, man, you got some brother in you, man, because you got coarse hair like me. You know what I'm saying? So we were roommates, and he's way more high profile than me.
Yeah.
And he didn't start as a freshman. He was a rotational player.
Yeah.
And he was ready to play. And I'm sure if he went to, I think it was between Nebraska and Michigan, I'm sure he would have probably started, but he came here and had the patience to earn his stripes. And obviously he's one of the best players to ever play here. So kids are different where they want to go from high school, take a pit stop in college, and be the #1 pick. That's their mindset.
That is so stupid. That is just.
I saw something about all the major players right now, like making a difference in the playoffs, right? Whether it's Joe Burrow, Chase, Jimmy Garoppolo, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes. They all were like 3-star recruits.
They all had to go through it, man.
I mean,
they all had to go through
it. The dude that said that Patrick Mahomes was a reach for Kansas City, when they do the draft things, I hope it wasn't PFF or whatever, but whoever said that, you cannot be employed anymore.
No, they're all still employed.
Yeah.
They're all still employed. As a matter of fact, they're all highlighted.
Cooper Kupp was a 0-star recruit.
0-star recruit. I mean, but and that's what the league is built on. I mean, obviously, you see the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings and all those guys.
They're wrong on Brady. Like,
but I'm just saying
they're wrong on Brady. It's
numerous rounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're wrong on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They're wrong on Russell Wilson. They're wrong on Jamarcus Russell. They're wrong on Paxton Lynch. They're wrong on Drew Lock. They're wrong on a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no exact science, but it comes down to it was a different situation, and guys would, be willing to go and wait. And it's not just waiting; it's getting better and earning your stripes. There's a pecking order when you walked into the meeting rooms and the locker room. It wasn't hazing. It was, look, DP is here. Terry Keneally's there. And Terry Keneally was starting and behind him was Jason Peter. Okay, Jason Peter ended up being one of the best defensive linemen to ever play here. But Terry Keneally came from Nebraska, worked his tail off, and he was the captain. He was the dude. So there was a pecking order. Everybody had to go through it. So when you became an older guy, you gave back and taught guys what it was like. You know, one of the best things we used to do and have is like when the guys that were playing in the NFL would come and work out with us. Coach Osborne wanted that. It wasn't about being in the league. It was like, I'm watching you. We're in this together. This is what you could possibly be, but there is no days off. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Neil Smith would come back. Heck, when Trev was playing, he came back and talked. You get what I mean? These are guys that I didn't know who the heck Trev was until he played against Florida State. And then by the time I got here, he already was gone. You get what I'm saying? Because he was being drafted. So, but for him to come back, then it was Corey Schlesinger. Then it was like Will Shields. All these guys would come back, and even guys before them. You know, the Irvin Friars would come back and talk to us and give us some knowledge. And it's all based on, you know, the brotherhood of trying to get Nebraska or keep Nebraska where we were at. And so when you're thinking about trying to connect with kids and get them to see, you know, what is it? See the trees through the forest or whatever the saying is. I should know it. My grandma used to always tell me this, but, you know, so just to see them a little bit, instead of seeing next week, see next year, you know, next season.
Well, it's the work.
Yeah,
the work is required. We all have that grandmother thing that's in place.
I know, right?
My grandmother said, "Baby, I can't give you everything because you won't respect it. You won't truly appreciate it. Everything earned, nothing given."
Right.
And football and athletes, collegiate athletics, that's a thing that should be in every locker room.
Yeah, and
like,
I mean, one of the best.
You'll get what you earn if you work.
Are you humble enough to win?
Well, the humbling is required.
No, but are you humble enough to win? I mean, people are saying humble. People think like, I guess Antonio Brown obviously isn't humble, or like Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather is humble enough to win, because you know what, he's
humble enough to work.
But no, because if you're humble enough to win, that means you're going to work. If you're humble enough to understand that I have to do whatever I have to do to get to be the best I can be, that's being humble. Yeah. Now, the confidence and the cockiness comes. You know where that comes from? I outworked you, and I have a lot of pride in what we're about to do right here. So when we throw in these hands, my hands are better than yours. You want to know my hands are better than yours? Because I worked my tail off, and I know I did more than what you do. So now I'm about to show you. Now it comes all the stuff and all, you know, all the other stuff comes with it, but it has no different whether it's basketball or football.
There was a confidence and an arrogance of elite Nebraska football teams because the work had already been done.
That's the way anybody is.
Like, that's like people talk about being humble. The humble is the fact that you will lower yourself enough to work hard.
Right.
Like, that's what that is. We'll toward the break. And you guys can chime in 402-464-5685, the Sartor Hamann text line, or you can call in the Honda Lincoln hotline. Again, the video streams are up on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. What we'll do next? Well, Rico will tell us what's up.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your teen vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff@brokersinsurancene.com.
Allo knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before, we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
And now a limerick from the world of Yum.
There once was a man in a bind. He's got the best wife in all mankind. And with Valentine's Day not that far away, he needs the greatest gift he can find. Jewelry can be hit or miss, and that vacuum was quickly dismissed. Flowers, they die. Homemade, don't be that guy. But what about that bakery in Beatrice? Liqueur cakes, you'll eat every crumb. Fruit cakes made with brandy, bourbon, and rum. And those chocolate cake squares. Do I have to drive you there? Get yourself to the world of Yum.
Did you know your air ducts can hold up to 17 pounds of dirt, dust, pet dander, and so much more? John Henry's is here to help make the air you breathe cleaner with a duct cleaning. If you've never had your ducts cleaned, now is the best time, especially if you have pets, someone in the home with allergies or asthma, or you've ever done a renovation. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call or text today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Pleased and honored to be joined by Nebraska volleyball coach John Cook.
If Trev wasn't interested, I would have done it in a heartbeat because I just felt like Nebraska athletics. We were at the edge of the cliff. You know, we had to do something, get somebody in here to build this athletic department back up. I thank my lucky stars every day that Trev's our guy now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Back to Old School with DP and J, presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
pulling up and be like, oh, that's what he meant.
Our listeners have to have ESP just to figure out what Jay's talking about when we come back from break.
Right. Well, I got to figure it out most of the time.
I try to time the button push right.
Yeah, just to get it on.
I like sit there and I wait and I look at him like, okay, I think he's in.
Okay, we'll get that in. It is that time of day where we find out what's going on. It's time to rant if Rico has one. Rico, tell us.
Woke up this morning and I got out of bed. Had a big old cup of coffee to clear my head. Telephone rang and you wanna chat? Well, sit on down and tell me what up with that.
Tell us what up, Rico.
Well, I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and kind of speaking on the whole, the best players in the playoffs right now being under recruited and everything. I think it was just the quarterbacks that were in the playoffs before, just the whole playoffs, like all the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. None of them specialized in football. All of them played at least 2 sports. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of that's something that is great right now, that I believe that more student athletes in high school and the lower levels should strive to participate in more sports than just one. Specializing in one sport when you're so young doesn't really make sense to me, because you've seen it a couple of times where kids have specialized in one sport from a very young age, and by the time it's time to go to college, or as they're in college, they're tired of it. They're done with it. They're burnt out. They're like, if you've played basketball and only basketball since you were 10, by the time you're 19, you're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to play basketball anymore. Maybe I just want to go to school. Maybe I just want to do this.
So, and that's just Sometimes I think, I always say this, like when you see kids come in as a freshman, you should want to say he got significantly bigger, faster, stronger, and better as a player by the time he left.
Mhm.
You don't want to be looking like the same guy, from year 1 to year 4. And a lot of times, I mean, the competition to get there's so obviously I'm sure there's numbers out there. So the amount of high school athletes, the number when I was coming up versus now, I'm sure has grown 2 or 3 times. So the competition has grown. And so when it's become more of a underwear Olympics, kind of like you got to be a certain height, certain weight, right?
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z, and you go to these camps, you get a lot of kids that peak very early. And a lot of coaches like guys coming from high school, supposedly closer to ready-made versus not. I think you need to have a good mix, right? And some guys are just born. I mean, heck, there's an 8th grader I saw like on Instagram that's like 6'6", 270. Like that was a special night of conception. Okay, we all weren't blessed with that. That guy's so he's more ready-made than a guy that might be 6'4", 255, and you got to put him in the weight room and get him bigger, faster, stronger for a few years. And the multi-sport thing, I think it helps. I think look, Nick Saban is the guy that knows what he's doing. Charlotte, North Carolina, took my daughter to a basketball game from Myers Park. Nick Saban sitting there. One of his recruits is there. He was trying to recruit Mashin Muhammad's son, who played football.
Trey.
Played football, and obviously he's going to play football. He was playing basketball. And one of the things he told the coach, and I didn't talk to him, but he said, I wanted to see how he competes. He's like, I don't care how good he is. Just imagine that. He's coming from Alabama to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm sure he does this in every school he goes to. I want to see how good he is. Obviously, he want you to be able to walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to see how competitive he is. See, the different sports teach you different things, and they actually help you develop as an athlete by playing different sports. So it's amazing that people are so set on one sport. And you know what's even worse? When they say I am a quarterback, I am a receiver, I am a linebacker, and that's it.
Yeah.
I played running back and receiver and quarterback in high school.
Recruiting football players, like there's a difference.
And then by no means was I ever
He
going to
plays this position, but he's a football player. Like
I wasn't playing running back here.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
That's we'll talk about that at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, because I think that's appropriate. The 3-sport thing is important, but then that competition thing. And Musin Muhammad, I've known, of course, Musin his dad was in Carolina, and great family. But the fact that he didn't choose Alabama, he chose A&M, which tells you a lot about A&M. We'll throw the break when we come back. More Old School 937 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you know your air ducts can hold up to 17 pounds of dirt, dust, pet dander, and so much more? John Henry's is here to help make the air you breathe cleaner with a duct cleaning. If you've never had your ducts cleaned, now is the best time, especially if you have pets, someone in the home with allergies or asthma, or you've ever done a renovation. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call or text today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, February 2nd and 3rd. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on different models of John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and more. We'll be offering free dicamba certification. Join us February 2nd and 3rd in Kearney. RSVP by calling your local Landmark location or at landmarkimp.com/events.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Pleased and honored to be joined by Nebraska volleyball coach John Cook.
If Trev wasn't interested, I would have done it in a heartbeat because I just felt like Nebraska athletics. We were at off the edge of the cliff. You know, we had to do something, get somebody in here to build this athletic department back up. I thank my lucky stars every day that Trev's our guy now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or kohls.com for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked up by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour number 2, Old School, Jay Foreman, Rico. 402-464-5685. Start him in text line and the Honda of Lincoln hotline. So in the crossover, the spillover, Schaefer's here on Thursday, and I think it's just a unique conversation just to let Schaefer be in the room for that. So I stayed out of it and I'm listening to you guys talk about Aaron Rodgers and the juiciness of it, of where he could land and how it would affect. And Simple said that Pittsburgh was juicier than DC.
I mean, in some ways it is.
In 1974.
But I think, yeah, no. But here's why I think that it wouldn't be as juicy because the fit would be so seamless that there wouldn't be any bumps in the road. You get what I'm saying? You're not in a major media center like DC,
right.
Where Rodgers would get pulled into everything, politics, parties.
Rodgers is Congress.
Rodgers would.
Right.
I mean, if that's something that I could see him doing that. Very opinionated or whatever, and I don't really care what his deal is. I'm not going there
on TV.
So that's what be more
every Meet the Press, every.
It would.
He had his second job as a Jeopardy host. His second job would be Speaker of the House.
His press. So that would be more juicy. But the transition into Pittsburgh would be seamless because he would have the ultimate respect for Mike Tomlin. Okay,
would he?
Yeah, he would.
I like to think he would.
Would he?
He would.
Other than the fact that there's that piece of where Mike would probably just take him out back in the shed.
Yeah, I think
because
Mike would get the respect. If
Mike would get the respect right from the get-go, but Aaron would give him the respect.
Well, he's just spent all this time dealing with Roethlisberger, so.
But it's just Mike Tomlin in the circle of football has a ton. He's not going in there. He's not questioning anything like he had to do with LaFleur. You know what I mean?
Right.
So because he had never been a head coach, you got a Super Bowl winning coach. He's at the best one with I think one of the winningest franchise.
Tight ends coach. He was a tight ends coach.
So yeah, that would be seamless, but it's going to be interesting. The thing about it, you should do a track. I wish people would do a tracker of said player, all the rumor connections in January or when their season ends, versus when you get closer. Say, he said he's not going to go too far into free agency, or because of the franchise tag for Adams, to what really becomes substance. Because the connection that might be number one on the docket right now, salary cap, trades, and everything. Just thinking like Deshaun Watson, all the different teams that he was connected to and still is connected to, right? Some are eliminated. The Giants said no. The Dolphins are kind of right now saying no. It seems like, Carolina was one of his places, right? But then here you are, nothing's happened, and the whole season's went, and the price tag hasn't went down. So now you got to really look at where do people get the assets to trade for a player like that, because his hometown team ain't going to play him, and they got to pay him. And then if they're going to keep him again in next year, that's going to be you just gave a guy $50 million. It's different to not play. It's different than Kirk Cousins hitting you over for a franchise tag 3-4 years in a row and he's playing. This is a dude sitting at the crib. So something has to give.
Just at the crib getting a massage.
So you never know. You never know if Deshaun Watson ends up there. You never know what can come of it. And the NFL is a thing that you just never know.
I can't even imagine. Look, what an absolute tank of bull just on fire. He's at home.
But Houston consciously did it though. He practiced during training camp, and they were like, "Don't come anymore," because they thought they had a trade.
They had him on special team, or they had him playing defense.
No, they had him doing scout team, so he was there being a good soldier. Didn't do any interviews
for $20 million. That ain't good. Look, what you need for me to do that? You need.
But it's not. But what I'm saying, he could have very easily had a press conference every day, and pushed the envelope. And the NFL told him, we're not suspending him, so you got to pay him. He took up a roster spot, but you got to think, when you think of Houston, when you hire a coach and everybody knew that you were going to fire him after a year, then it kind of makes sense that you're okay with paying a guy $25 million to sit at home.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is they're banking on somebody to be desperate enough to trade for him, whereas the longer you hold on to him, the less that I think they're not going to get what they could have gotten if they didn't. There's an old saying: the first trade offer is usually your best one when it's within realm. I don't see anybody giving up 3 first-round picks that Houston asked for.
No.
Miami Dolphins were at one time. Carolina was there at one time.
Who is the most quarterback desperate team right now?
Probably Carolina, Denver, but I don't know if they're going to do it.
I think it might be like Carolina. They traded for Sam.
Yeah, you got
Darnold.
Sam. You could
maybe they're going to give him another
yeah,
year.
you could give him another year because he started out really well.
I think it might be Denver because they have Teddy Bridgewater, which
Denver.
It's Houston.
Well,
Denver,
Denver, the team without Deshaun Watson that is the most quarterback need.
Right? Denver, New Orleans. Even though they got,
I think Jameis is coming back. I think they're fine with that.
Yeah, if it depends on who the head coach is.
Yeah,
you just never know. You know, it'd be funny if there's somehow, some way, the fences are mended, which is a long shot. You know,
that's the greatest mend in the history.
That he
That
ends
would be
up playing in
impressive.
Houston. It'd be crazy. I wouldn't be. I'd be very surprised, but I wouldn't because there's going to be a time and place and time and point that you're going to have to. I mean, the GM and whoever the head coach, you can't go another year of purely tanking. You can't trade Whitley. You can't Whitney Merciless. You can't. He's a franchise cornerstone. Okay.
Well, they've traded every cornerstone they've had.
But you can't continue to do that, and you go out there and tank in the city of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can get it 1 year because of the whole blow up, ownership, Bob McNair passing away. You kind of got a little bit of leeway. You did 1 year is enough. You can't go down there and get 2 years, 3 years of doing this, and you just can't. And then you got a new GM that pretty much Andre Johnson and everybody was like, that's not the guy that we agreed to hire.
Yeah.
And you've done all these internal things that go unnoticed with the alumni or, guys that are, part of Houston, me from afar, but I know what's going on. But even though they don't make mainstream media, and then you got that fan base that's wants just a good product and they're watching. I'm telling you about Houston fans. It's Kansas City, and then I would say Houston as far as tailgating, right? But those fans are knowledgeable. They know good football. What they saw this year was not good football, and it wasn't an attempt to play good football. So you can't do that 2 years in a row willingly. They willingly did it. You get what I'm saying?
That's just a lot of money to sit idle when you're not good.
Well, it is.
But you could improve
draft. You could improve draft pick wise. You could trade for, why not trade for
what's Deshaun's salary for the 2 year period we're talking about? So
let me look it up.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers have to be ridiculous.
But I think he has.
Steelers are in search of a quarterback now, as he officially announced his retirement. That is Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, that was just dotting I's across, across.
Just official.
Well, you got to get out of the way.
Yeah,
you got to get out of the way. Well,
Aaron Rodgers, come on down.
Well, everybody's taking a shot now. Denver's going to take a shot. My question there is he going to work with the coach or is he going to work with Elway? Is he making
working with the coach because they're trying to even kind of get they're that's the reason why they got a real GM. Elway ain't been able to draft a quarterback since he's been. You got to think he drafted Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, and Drew Lock.
So Deshaun is signed till 2025
with a no trade clause, or he has to sign off on the trade, right?
Yeah, he has a potential. Yeah, he has no trade clause. He has a potential out in 2024. But these next 2 years. So what is this going to be? The 2022 season? 35 million.
What was in 2021?
10,540,000.
And that's the waiver. That's the I'm not going to compete waiver.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count the bonus.
35 million next season, 20 million
signing bonus
2023. The signing bonus for all these years is 5,400,000.
So you got 15.
Do we know if Denver and Pittsburgh are on Deshaun's list of
Nobody knows.
Denver has been.
Denver has been even during the season.
Yeah, it was Denver, Miami. I know for
and
sure.
Carolina.
And Carolina.
And Miami was based on Brian Flores.
Yeah. What if long shot? Don't see it happening.
Brian Flores
to Houston.
Or D'Amico Ryans or somebody like that. I could see.
You still got to work out whatever his.
But you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to end up being what that dude. It seems like a.
I don't know how he's going to play, quite frankly.
In Houston,
anywhere.
Oh, he'll play, dude. They've had Ray Lewis played. I mean, are you kidding me?
Do you think Ray Lewis would have played had that thing happened now?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
Ray Rice almost played until the video got released.
Well, that's the thing. All of the stuff, the testimony and all that report, all that stuff is there waiting to be dumped into the media.
There's a lot of players.
There's a lot of players
who
who
have
way
had
worse, way worse than that, man. I mean,
think of the Dodgers pitcher that missed the rest of the season.
I don't know.
I don't think that's not on the level of Deshaun Watson.
No,
that dude is when you're strangling somebody.
Well, I just don't.
That's probably a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the baseline is.
There is no baseline.
Ben Roethlisberger
It's all
played.
Ben Roethlisberger played.
Yeah, I guess it don't matter.
Yeah. I mean,
it don't matter.
I mean,
okay, all right.
Leonard Little played.
No, I was trying to work it through. Like I was trying to work it through my head. I guess there's
Robert Kraft is still the owner.
You ain't wrong.
Oh, you are not wrong.
Right? I mean, it's
wow.
It's,
okay. No, that's a hit. That
might be apples for apples.
That's
that video. Okay, I mean, it's,
okay.
Yeah, there's
that.
There's the video.
There's that.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a Google. I'm sure. And the good thing about Deshaun Watson, he knows something else is going to happen in the offseason.
Right.
Just stay at home. Stop calling people to come and give you massages. Somebody else is going to mess up to a magnitude.
Like you gave him more time.
Hold on.
To not do what he was already doing.
Listen here. It's Super Bowl week. There's going to be somebody. What was it? Seattle? The dude was it Seattle? Where was it where he tried to sneak the girl in the hotel in the NFL uniform was it Seattle? Wow. In the playoffs or Super Bowl?
I think
was it Seattle?
So.
Right?
I think so.
He got sent home.
Yeah.
And he was like a practice squad guy.
Yeah.
Because they had 2 weeks, right? They had 2 weeks.
They were there, and they said nobody in the hotel.
And it was during COVID.
And he put her in the jersey.
Oh, that's right.
He put her in like a Seattle Seahawks t-shirt and shorts.
Tried to see.
Hey, put your hair in a bun up here and
hat on.
Hey, put some eye black on because the game's tomorrow. You're ready to.
We are so messy. We are
so what I'm saying is, so as a player, as Deshaun Watson sitting at home, there's always going to be the next one, and then the best thing for him to do is sign with said team as the same day as
Aaron Rodgers
signs someone. This will just kind of just be on a blip, just boop, or do it at midnight,
or try and time it out if Tom Brady retires.
Something
same day because you will get no pub if Tom Brady retires.
I in the back of my mind kept waiting for Washington to step up and convince him to do that, but then why?
Who?
So Deshaun
to convince him to do what?
To come to DC.
You got to convince the GM.
Well,
he's trying to get a king's ransom.
Well,
but when you got Daniel Snyder,
well, that's what I'm saying. Who gives?
Daniel Snyder was like, "Come. Hey, homie, I'm gonna show you how to really do this."
Right? You want 3 first-round picks? I'll give you 5.
Why are you talking? Stop telling family secrets.
Family secrets. I'll give you. That's how John Gruden lost his job. They looking for Daniel Snyder that was taking pictures of the cheerleaders. They say, "Oh, John Gruden? Oh, you sending company? Oh,
wait
on
a
the
minute,
Bruce Allen." On the company email?
Interesting.
Oh, did you mean John or Jay?
John Gruden?
Both?
Oh, okay.
They're both
Just
in the email.
Gruden.
Hey, but you know what's crazy about and all jokes aside here, right? Sometimes people are like, oh, you ever thought about coaching? And I'm like, yeah, I have to probably think about it a lot more right now. If I'm ever going to do it, it's got to be like within a year or two. Brothers, they got a different time frame for brothers and stuff, So if I jump in the game late, I gotta make sure relationships are tight. What I mean? That I can, I got, that I know I got some places that I can go to actually get a chance to coach, right? Because getting there and coaching ain't gonna be a problem. recruiting either. So I don't want if I ever jump in the coach, I don't want to hear any that he can't recruit. I know I can recruit, right? Trust me, I can. Not just play. So when you think about when you really thinking about it,
stupid. You're so stupid.
Hey, when you really thinking about it, man, is like the way
Jay Foreman is fighting himself right now.
I know.
There's a battle going on inside Jay Foreman's head.
No. But when you think it,
jokes aside,
that's when you know.
That's when you know I'm trying to tighten up. But when you're up here and you're really thinking about it, the time frames and stuff like that, it's got to be on and popping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And here's the other thing. So when you talk about all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. So Washington's going to do their announcement.
It's coming up soon, right?
On February 2nd.
Yeah.
February 2nd.
I thought it was like last Monday.
No, based on social media, right?
It's already been out for like a month.
For a second. But then here's the part where my people in DC are and the NFL are just scratching their heads in fear. Because the investigation report comes out on
same
the
day,
third. So on the second,
they better
get a new name. And the third,
Hey, you know what they're gonna say? They ain't got nothing to do with us. We got a new name.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Right.
That is, we are not the football team. We are not. We are not the former team.
There's like in Houston, the Enron building.
Yep.
They're the same people working in there. They got another name for it. Same dudes walking out the door. Are they going to do the uniform reveal too?
Like we couldn't even do it.
So this
yes, they are.
Oh, okay,
this has
cool.
Like
nothing to do
we
with
couldn't
us.
even do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like we could have. Like you would have done it the day after the investigation report was released.
You get a new name and you're gone.
And it's like, that's why we fired everybody, and then we rehired everybody under a different name.
This ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know who that is.
That is all right. So let's sort the break here. We got segments that we got to put together. More Old School on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Did you know your air ducts can hold up to 17 pounds of dirt, dust, pet dander, and so much more? John Henry's is here to help make the air you breathe cleaner with a duct cleaning. If you've never had your ducts cleaned, now is the best time, especially if you have pets, someone in the home with allergies or asthma, or you've ever done a renovation. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call or text today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, February 2nd and 3rd. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on different models of John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and more. We'll be offering free dicamba certification. Join us February 2nd and 3rd in Kearney. RSVP by calling your local Landmark location or at landmarkimp.com/events.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected here for our Thursday. A little breezy with northwest winds gusting over 20. We'll top out near 40. Heading into tonight, partly cloudy, a low dropping down to 15. Cloud cover lingering into our Friday, very seasonable, as high temps will once again be in the upper 30s, close to 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SCC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Toro goes hard, man.
Toro
Toro
the bull.
But he always thought like he had the best job because he used to always they would always, like when we first got there, they had like a 3-wheeler, right? He'd come out and do his stuff, and then they had one little flame. Then the next, he started winning or whatever. Then he got the 4-wheeler. Then he had the cool thing where they must have taught him how to parachute in. That was awesome. And then then a couple times in the off season they would have these like caravan things where you go to
different parts of the
Houston metropolitan area, do some signings and stuff like that. And then sometimes you have to stay at night. We went to one in San Antonio. He was cool, man. I didn't realize, how physically demanding that job was.
So
because of all the
so cool.
Right, yeah.
Well, do you remember the
yes, the one thing about the Phoenix Suns guy, the original ones, right?
Oh no, I was talking about the Denver Nuggets mascot when they had him come down from the ceiling and he passed out. So they brought him down and like he passed out mid, when they were lowering him down. So he got to the floor and they thought he was going to stand up and he just fell over and they were like, so they had people run out there and had to hold him up.
I'm gonna get on if you're ever interested. So the Utah Jazz Bear, who might be like him and Serper are like 1A, 1B, like the best performers in sports as far as mascots, like the stunts they do, that sort of deal. And so John, that's exactly Jazz Bear's actual name. He was a Jazz Bear for 30 some years and they just retired him. But he would say that he would lose 15 pounds. He had 4 Jazz Bear outfits. Mm-hmm. That he would go through each game because he would sweat through.
Right.
He would sweat through.
I was
15 pounds. He says 15 pounds. And he actually has a crew that takes care of him during games and during appearances because he's sweating. He has to go in. Like you think he runs off the floor, that he's in the back chilling. No, he's back there hydrating.
Trying to hydrate.
Get all that
I
stuff
didn't realize how
heavy
much
breathing.
Right. But then when I was in Utah, so the Jazz did a thing with Little Jazz Bear. So they had a tiny version of the Jazz Bear. And he did almost as many of the stunts as the big Jazz Bear. But he had an accident and while he was performing a stunt on a motorcycle. And I was like, oh, he's done. Like done. My buddy Will also had an accident at the very same time. And it wasn't until then that I found out that the dude I'd been hanging out with in real life and the dude I had been hanging out with at Jazz games
Was the same dude.
He was looking at you.
Was the
through
same
jazz.
dude. Yeah,
he
he-
was like, this stupid guy.
I like
He
it. It
has
was
no
just like
idea.
they both did. Like they
Right.
both, and it was spectacular. So that led me. I was talking to Little Jasmine last night. It hit me. Maybe a way to resolve the little red thing,
Mhm.
is to have a little Herbie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something for the kids.
I have no idea.
Big
what
smile on
the-
his face, cute, little Herbie rather than little red.
How low are we talking? Because if you, I mean, depending on the pay,
Well,
I'll
he's
be
a little
little
person.
Herbie.
He's a little person.
Like a little Ewok.
Well, not look at Rico. Maybe I might have a job.
Right.
Well, you got to do
depending on the pay.
but you got to be able to do stunts and stuff.
I can do that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
Can you ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
You looking at me? I ain't got no apples in this. I ain't got nothing for you because I have no idea.
Well, we
I
all
don't even know who they are.
So Herbie, the mascot, blonde-haired
Yeah.
Herbie. Little Red is the blow-up inflatable.
The one that everybody hates.
Because he
Right.
shrinks and comes up.
And isn't there a little red?
Couldn't tell you.
Right,
I only know.
think there's a big one, and then I think there's a little one.
I know Lil Red and Herbie, and I know that the only way to get rid of the curse is to have Frank Solich sacrifice Lil Red at midfield with a rusty knife.
Dang.
Yeah, people go hard on Little Red. Like
you
Little Red.
blood, you blood in, blood out, aren't you?
Yeah, like you want to. You.
I mean,
you-
obviously the person inside Lil Red isn't gonna be there, but Lil
sure?
Red needs to be sacrificed.
You sure?
Yeah, depending on who it
we
is.
had Tom and I had a couple of the former Herbies call in and tell some stories. But as I was thinking, I'm like, a little Herbie might not be awful, except for that I went and saw some of the original Herbies, and they were scary.
They're terrifying.
They are.
Have you ever seen Herbie take his hat off?
No.
The hat comes off.
Oh no! Don't.
It doesn't look. It's scary.
So Texas says he was Herbie in '95. He goes and he said Jay, he was a Herbie in '95. He led you on the field.
You have no idea who Herbie
And you have no
is.
idea who he is.
No, I don't. No offense.
Right? Like that's
Dang, sorry, Ted.
yeah, so that was the thing. So maybe that's a way to appease the people that want to get rid of Little Red.
Little Herbie.
Little Herbie, or of course you and I talked about
It's not.
there's a
It's not gonna happen. You don't even have to. It's not gonna happen.
there's a Rasta Herbie.
It's not gonna happen.
Man, I have no idea. I don't even understand why people get mad.
Right, like they want him gone. Like they want him off, Jay. Like anytime we bring this up, the text line goes crazy with people who want like
I love when people call Herbie Metro Herbie.
Right. Yeah,
It's almost like when people get mad about like if Nebraska wears all white or all red.
Yeah.
I don't know why people get mad at that.
Because
It
they
looks
be getting
cool.
because they be losing.
Well, they said
you gotta
the-
win.
the
When was the
all
last
red-
time they were all red?
I don't know,
they
but
wore-
you got to wear
so-
those things like when you know you're gonna win.
Well, they wore all red. The one time that everybody keeps referencing is they played Oklahoma. I don't remember the year, but they played Oklahoma. They lost. They wore all red against Fresno State back when Tommy Armstrong was the quarterback.
Mm.
I thought it looked good.
Well, but because they were talking about on social media that all of the new recruits, whenever they commit and
All
they
red.
take their picture, they wear the
Yeah,
all
all red.
reds. So it's like, well,
They lucky, man.
And then the alternate, like the icy all whites, they're not as cool as the icy Texas A&M all whites, but they're still nice.
well, Adidas get to work is what we should be
Yes,
yelling.
Adidas does such great work with other teams' uniforms. When it comes to Nebraska, they're just bleh.
But they don't need to change Nebraska's uniform.
They don't need you, but if you're gonna have an alternate that you wear once a year,
The alternates the last few years have been on
oh, yeah,
point.
the black shirt ones are nice.
The
but if you're
alternates
doing a
the last
Like the
few-
military one was on point.
the last like 4 or 5 years Adidas has been good.
Well, do you remember the black one with just the big? I think it was black with just the N on the front.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
that
were
was-
gross.
yeah.
Those were gross.
But ever since then,
Yeah.
they've been good.
I liked the throwback ones to honor the teams that wore the leather helmets, but the helmet design was gross. The jerseys were cool. The design on the helmet was gross.
No, I just need for them to come out one game. So next year against
they,
Oklahoma.
need to come out in all white. I call it the cocaine white.
No, next year for Oklahoma, come out with the mesh midriff joints.
Oh yeah, come back straight old school,
Right?
with Mike
Get the,
Rozier.
Yes.
get the stripes on the pants.
No, and
No,
like
the
don't
mesh
warm up.
shirt.
Don't warm up in them.
Yeah, just come.
But when you come out the tunnel
Tearaways
and head, Jay,
I don't think you can.
Can you
anymore.
imagine that place?
And where it's like the jersey from the numbers on down is mesh,
Right?
And
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine Memorial?
I don't think you can anymore.
What do you mean?
They
Of course
banned
you
them. They banned them. Remember after?
No,
after Zeke had the-
not. It's just mesh.
Yeah, it's just mesh
Down
all the way
here.
down. It's mesh and
Okay.
it flaps. Like you just need it for it to flap.
So you just need to have extra cloth.
And they
So
wear
extra
the
mesh.
back flaps anywhere, whatever you call it.
Right. Like I think can you imagine, especially for Oklahoma.
That place would go wild.
Like for Oklahoma, give me
And so then you're gonna have the coaches in the polyester pants too.
oh, you got to wear like the old starter joints.
And then when how they flared out, they had the belt bottom.
Yeah,
flare out.
Frost needs to find the hat that Tom Osborne always wore.
Or
Get one of those.
come out with the Zuba cuts.
Oh, that's too much.
It's too.
Oh, the Zubas, come on.
That's too
They
much.
would, you know what? Because that would just make you look like a clown. Like the jerseys, the mesh and stuff would be good, but anything besides that, you can't be going out there looking like with the Zubas.
I'm just saying, like that. And for whoever's in charge of apparel, if you were to simply sell mesh jerseys, your revenue your revenue stream would be off the charts. Just go in and go and get the old Russell Athletic, right?
Are they still in business?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I don't know.
They
because-
are.
Well,
they
because
are.
their
Do they do
main-
baseball or something?
They are.
Well,
But
their main football contributor was Georgia Tech because that's where it was, and Georgia Tech switched. They're with the Adidas now.
the Russell Athletic, the Huskers were either champion or
They were champion.
right. Go back, just go put them in every store in the state of Nebraska. I need, even if it's like just to the belt,
Mhm.
mesh jerseys. Do that, and this will be a happy place. We'll throw the break. More old school when we come back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SCC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In basketball on Tuesday, January 25th, Norris lost to Bennington 49-43. Lincoln Southwest dominated in their game against Fremont 87-45. It was a team effort as 12 players from Southeast scored, Ryland Smith leading all scorers with 17 points. Lincoln Southwest now sits at 9-5 on the season. The Lincoln Southwest girls would lose to Fremont 49-45. Taylor McGay for Fremont would lead all scorers with 21 points and would surpass 2,000 career points. Lincoln Pius lost to Omaha Scud 56-51. The Lincoln Pius girls would also lose in their match 45-39. Waverly beat Elkhorn 44-39. The Lincoln Lutheran girls would win over Bishop Newman 28-14. In cross country news, Fremont's Ellie Dahl has been named the Gatorade Cross Country Runner of the Year. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Allo knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Do you know the signs of an opioid overdose? Talk to your physician and pharmacist about naloxone, a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. Be Opie Ready and download a free overdose support tool, the Opie Rescue app. Search Opie Ready for more information.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Back to old school with DP and J. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Clap your hands, everybody, and everybody just clap your hands. Fly girls, clap your hands. Fly guys, clap your hands. Well, if you're feeling all right and you think you're on, somebody let me know. Will everybody in the place put a whistle in your face, screaming out and say, yo, yeah!
That is pure joy. The old Sugar Hill Gang music, light blue music label, Jay Foreman. And Showdown, Eighth Wonder, yeah, all of that. Our question for the day, not Rico's question, but our question of the day. Rico, give us our question of the day.
The question of the day today is, which basketball game today will have more fans, the men's or the women's?
So, Jay, if you could only go to one of those games.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I'm friends with both of the coaches.
I know, but
I go to both.
See?
I go to
Fred,
both.
Amy, if you're listening, cover your ears.
I go to both.
I'm going to try to go. Like, I know I can make the men's game because it's 4:00.
Yeah. I'm going to go because when the women's is at 8.
8. I was going to say I wanted to take my daughter, but that's normally when she's getting ready to go to bed.
I'll go at least the first half of the women's.
Why is it so late?
Like, I can't do the women's game because we have so Priscilla Joseph is doing a show tonight at 8:00 from 8 to 9. So that kind of means I need to be here.
Put on the TV.
I'll tell you what,
it'll be on
man.
TV.
You never know who your friends are until you start to think. Because that texter is saying that I was supposed to know. One of my best friends, I knew he was one of them. Right? And he was Lil Red and Herbie Husker.
Wow.
He's in California right now, so it's only 7:44. So I think he's still in bed, but I'm gonna try to get him on.
Yeah. Like the stories of mascots.
But it fits my friend though, especially the one that goes down and messes with. You just kind of that's him.
Yeah.
Because he's the dude that when we go to the club, it always like we'd have to have. Have you seen Armand?
Yeah.
Where is he okay? Is he alive?
There's a video. So in Carolina, in each of these places, two things usually happen. One, I end up dancing with the mascot, and two, I end up dancing with and or being a judge for the cheerleaders or dance team. And so in Charlotte, it was Sir Purr. Sir Purr would come on the show, and every year, me and Sir Purr would dance. And he would do All Kitty Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his song, and so we'd have to dance to that, and then we'd go to club with him as his person rather than as the character. But he would get in the middle of the dance floor, and he would literally do the Sir Purr dance, and everybody would lose their minds. And you go, okay, is that
y'all were doing too much down there, man?
Yes, we were. Yeah,
Well,
there's zero question about that. We did too much.
Back to the other segment before. I'm going to tell you this though. This is the honest to God truth. I grew up like a Nike guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sponsor. I was had a whatever sponsorship with Nike.
Whatever.
Yeah, sponsored by Nike.
Since I've been back to Nebraska, I actually am converting to Adidas guy, and here's why. Nike's process has gotten cheaper. Adidas has gotten better, over the years. But it's all about the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
If you people out here don't know what dogs are, my feet.
Oof.
Adidas shoes are phenomenal.
So comfortable.
And it's like I wore Nikes for so long, and you're just kind of just be used to like sitting on the couch 9 o'clock and your feet just.
You're like, I should take these off.
Yeah, you're like, just dogs will be barking. You're like, dang, you're waiting for Adidas after wearing Adidas, like your feet to be hurting. Then it feels like I have a pair of Adidas that I won't wear much because they feel so. Because I was like, I would like to keep them forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't want to wear them if it's like snowy or slushy out or anything like that. If you high traffic, I don't want to wear them to games. But they're phenomenal.
As he sits Nike head to toe.
Right. But when I leave here, when I leave here and when I do all my basketball practice, I wear all Adidas.
Yeah,
these shoes right here are the ones that are literally next to the door. I go from the door, slide them in, hit push reverse right here.
Do you have shoes that you can only wear? You can wear out, but you can't walk them through the house. Do you have those house rules?
I don't wear shoes in the house.
Well, no, but as you walk into the house, like from being outside.
Yeah, these are it. These are the one. These are kind of like my 2-hour shoes.
Okay. Yeah, I get these reports from Becky that apparently said pair of shoes has tracked through the house, and so then I have to become like shoes at the door guy. Because you don't want your floor to look like anybody ever walks on it. So the floor is not actually used for its sole purpose, which is to be walked on.
That's what we are. You come in from the garage and we have just all the shoes. We have a shoe rack and all that stuff. We take shoes off there and you're good to go.
It's the sole purpose of the floor is to be walked on. We'll do that. All right, Rico. Time for your question. Rico's question of the day coming up on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Physician and pharmacist about naloxone, a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. Be opie ready and download a free overdose support tool, the Opie Rescue app. Search Opie Ready for more information.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected here for our Thursday. A little breezy with northwest winds gusting over 20. We'll top out near 40. Heading into tonight, partly cloudy, a low dropping down to 15. Cloud cover lingering into our Friday, very seasonable, as high temps will once again be in the upper 30s, close to 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or kohls.com for details.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, February 2nd and 3rd. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on different models of John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and more. We'll be offering free dicamba certification. Join us February 2nd and 3rd in Kearney. RSVP by calling your local Landmark location or at landmarkimp.com/events.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
They literally sound the same. They sound the same.
Hip hop started out
The
pop.
pie.
Go to the park and do the dance. You go doop 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 doop.
He had one of them old school beatbox machines.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God.
It makes sense.
That is we have not evolved.
No.
We have not evolved. It's amazing.
Heck, they have the auto tune that you can make somebody like me sound like you can sing, right?
Right? Like, can we do that one day?
Because there's no. Is there a difference between auto tune and Milli Vanilli?
Can we get Jay on auto tune? Like, have
No.
Jay.
I can't.
Well, no, but auto tune will make it.
Auto-tune. You'll sound great.
Rico can't even say that with a straight face.
You'll sound great.
You'll
Yeah.
sound-
You sound phenomenal.
All right,
sound
we got
fantastic.
we got 3 minutes. What's your question of the day, sir?
All right. So, as you know, I like to stay topical. Ben Roethlisberger has 418 passing touchdowns in his illustrious career with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Where does that rank him all time in career touchdown pass leaders?
5th?
No, that is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, he's like 12th,
That is Matthew Stafford. He is higher than that.
10,
That is Eli Manning, higher than that.
8.
8.
Wow.
Okay.
If he would have
What's
stayed
the number at 5?
number 5, Aaron Rodgers, 449. Right above him is Brett Favre at 508. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 active players currently in the top 20.
Of course, because they throw the ball more. That's
Can you name them?
Well, Brady,
Ben Roethlisberger, I took him out, so it's
Stafford.
still 4. Uh-huh.
Russ.
Russell, Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the next one? Mahomes.
Mahomes.
For sure. Besides Mahomes.
Herbert.
Yeah.
Herbert.
I was going to
Or
say
Murray.
Allen.
Or Murray.
I would say Allen.
And you know who
No,
else
because
is-
he runs the ball quite a bit.
Sneaky though is Derek Carr.
You know who's
if he kind of still
you know
gets
who's going to
efficient.
sneak into this thing? Kirk Cousins.
Yep, sure is.
Kirk Cousins is
If
going
you're
to.
going by starting quarterbacks,
Mhm.
Kirk Cousins is 36th. He is surrounded by Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, which means that
He's-
if he
and he's
plays
gonna-
another
5
Tannehill
years,
is tied for
that's
47.
another 100. What's Kirk Cousins at right now?
Kirk Cousins is at 223.
So if he has another 100 that's 5 years of 20 touchdowns. He's probably going to do more than that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So 323 would put him at Matthew Stafford, 12.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's easy
Yeah.
for him.
Derek Carr's 57 at 193.
Yeah, if you put him because figure he'll do 30 a year for the next 5 years.
Mahomes is
I only
90.
did 20 just
Yeah.
because if you have a year that he's
30
not
years. So if you add 150 to Kirk, where does that put him?
150 to Kirk. Where's he at? 150. So that'd be 373. That would be 9th.
Okay. That's about the space. That is about the space. All right. Jay Foreman, thank you. Job well done. Stay tuned for 101. Barry Thompson. QB coach.
Yeah, ask him about Kirk Cousins.
Ask him about Kirk. Sure will.
That's about all the quarterbacks.
Sure, yeah.
Ask him about Kirk though.
Yeah, we can do
Just
that.
specifically Kirk.
Yeah, and he's going to join us on the stream, so you'll be able to actually see Barry today. We'll do that 1-on-1 coming up next.
This is your High School Minute.